Hey guys, let's talk about poles, shall we? Hey guys, welcome back to Urban Outdoors. I appreciate you joining me today. And today we're going to talk about trekking poles.
Space, the final frontier.
No, not that type of trekking poles. The things that you use to walk with. No, not those. Those are crutches. I'm talking about trekking poles. Trekking poles. There are a lot of options that are out there for you whenever you think about walking assistance, when you're hiking, backpacking, or just walking for exercise. I learned a long time ago, back with scouting, the importance of having a walking aid. And there are a lot of options that are out there for you. Some people like to use the cane. Very good. Oh, I see that cane has a little extra surprise. Canes are maybe good for walking, but I don't recommend that you use a cane for hiking or backpacking. Other people like to use the walking staff, which is usually just a piece of wood. Ah, that's a nice staff there. I like the feather. That's a good addition. And then, of course, there is the trekking pole. Now you're talking. All right, so let's take a moment and talk a little bit about trekking poles, shall we? All right, so let me give you guys some reasons, approximately 10, why it's good to have a trekking pole. The first thing is just stability. When you're on unstable ground, the trekking pole can help give you that extra foot, if you want to say so, to get you through these unstable areas. The second reason is because it helps with your balance. If you're crossing a log or a narrow area, it can help you to balance your way across that area. The third thing is it gives you additional traction. If you look at the tip of and it can really dig in and give you that extra traction when you need it. That's really important when you're dealing with loose gravel or loose ground, rocks. The fourth reason is that using a trekking pole transfers the energy, a lot of the energy, from just your legs to also your upper body and your torso. Another good thing, number 5, is that you can move items out of the way. Sometimes trails are very clear and open and free of debris, but sometimes you might encounter thorns or brush that needs to be moved away. This way, if you have a trekking pole, you can use the pole to move that debris and get through clearly. And number 6, probing. It's good to have a trekking pole if you come up to an area and there's mud that you have to go through. You can't go around it, and you want to know how deep is that mud and which is the best way to go. So using the trekking pole as a probing device is good. Number 7 reason to have a trekking pole or poles is you can use it to set up a shelter. And I'm going to put a card right up here so you can click and go check out my tarp video where I did exactly that. Use the trekking pole in conjunction with a tarp to make a shelter. Number 8, you can use your trekking pole as a scare deterrent by banging it up against trees or rocks to make loud noises that might detour or scare away any lurking creatures that might be by. Number 9 would be that you can use your trekking pole as a defensive type of weapon, if need be, against small critters or snakes. If a snake comes up, you can just brush that snake aside. Also, you know, if you ever encounter a bear, you ought to know not to run in the opposite direction, because you're not going to win that race. But what you can do is stand your ground and make yourself seem bigger with your trekking pole by waving the trekking pole and round. I wouldn't recommend chasing the bear down and trying to beat him to death with the trekking pole, because that's not going to happen either. But making yourself look bigger and appear bigger and more of a threat, sometimes the bear will turn and run. And the 10th reason is that it does improve your endurance, and this has been proven. There have been studies that the use of a trekking pole will improve your endurance, which allows you to travel further. Alright, so we've talked a little bit about why it's important to have a trekking pole. Now let's talk about the trekking poles and go over some of the features of a trekking pole and why I think a trekking pole is better than a walking stick or a cane, and definitely crutches. The first thing that I like about a trekking pole versus a walking stick is that they are adjustable. And different trekking poles have different types of adjustment. Some trekking poles have these adjustable latches where you just unclick it and you can expand, whoops, don't want to pull it all the way out, but you can expand out or in and adjust the length of the trekking pole by these latches. The other type is a twisting lock, like this, where you twist one way to adjust the height, and then you simply twist the opposite direction until it is tight, and then that way it's not going to move. So it'll be up to you to decide what type you like, the latch or the twist. I prefer the twist. I've just never had a bad experience with them. So the other feature I want to talk about, an advantage of the trekking pole versus the walking stick. I used to have a problem with my back. I used to race motocross, and I had a bad accident one time. Ever since, I've had a bad back. But this walking stick has been good for me to use like this to help me get up, because it's longer. I can grab it, put my weight on it, and pick myself up. That's why this one has stuck around. I had used it a couple of times when hiking, but as you can see, it's just so long and tall, and it's a lot heavier than a trekking pole. So those are the reasons why I don't use this anymore for hiking or backpacking. That's why I don't like a wooden staff as opposed to the trekking pole. Plus the ends. Now I did put a rubber end on here. This is basically from the end of a shower curtain holder. I put that on there and glued it so I'd have more traction indoors. And if I didn't have that rubber tip on there, it would just be wood, which can be slick in some situations. So the thing about the trekking poles is they have this carbide tip right here. And it really grips, and it gives you, like I said, traction. And that's just a good thing to have. You'll notice right here, this is called a basket. And there are different size baskets that you can get, and they just screw on and off, so you can take it off. I just leave mine on, but they have some that are wider than others, different shapes, and it doesn't really matter. But the reason you have this is if you are in ice or snow or mud or sand, it prevents the trekking pole from sinking far down into the earth. It stops right there and it gives you more support. So that's a good feature of the trekking pole. Now I know there are a lot of choices out there for trekking poles and a lot of companies, and you can spend a ton of money, or like me, you know, I don't like to spend a lot of money on gear, and I think these trekking poles were about $20, and they're by Cascade Mountain Tech. These are the aluminum version. They have a foam grip up here, so you can grip it high, you can grip it low, and then of course you've got your strap. So Those are the features of the trekking pole that all give an advantage over a cane or a staff or a wooden staff, because you have the carbide grip here at the tip. You have the basket. They are adjustable, so you can adjust the height, and then of course the straps. So while we're up close here, I want to show you the proper way to grip the trekking pole. And a lot of people do this wrong. A lot of people will just put their hand in like that and grip the pole and think that they're supposed to grip the pole really hard and keep a tight grip on it the whole time. And that's wrong. The way you want to do this is you want to put your hand in from the bottom, reach up and over, and then like that, you'll see that you don't even have to grip the pole. And when you do grip it, you can just grip it very lightly. And that's not going to take a lot less strain off of your wrist and your fingers. And, you know, you're not going to get the carpal tunnel syndrome and all that. Here, like this, instead of grasping it so hard like that. So that's the proper way. Once more, you want to go up through the bottom, over the top, and grip it like that. So that's the proper use of the grip. Now let's talk about the proper height. Alright, so when you want to get the proper height of your trekking pole, you want to loosen it up again so that it goes like this. And you want to extend it out to the end. Then what you want to do is grip it the way you would, put it on the ground, and then you want to push down slowly until you get it about the height where your arm is parallel to the ground and you have a 90-degree angle here. So when you achieve that length, simply reach down and tighten it up. Now there are markings on the trekking pole. Hopefully that's coming through on the video. And most of them are in centimeters. This particular one is in inches. And I know that the right length for me is 130 centimeters. So when I am not using my pole and I fold it up all the way and I have it in my pack and I want to take it out, I know I can just open it up, look at that, go to 130, and boom, I'm set. Put it on, I'm ready to go. Now, that's the proper height for general walking, okay? But if you're going uphill or up an incline and you're going to be hiking up a mountain, you want to shorten it just a little bit. Instead of reaching up like that, you'll still be able to have this 90 degrees, but the pole will have to be shorter to accomplish that. And the reverse of that, when you're going downhill, you would want to reach down and lengthen it to make it longer, so that when you're going downhill, the trekking pole is going to be below you, and instead of having reach low like that, with it being longer, again, you can maintain that 90-degree angle. So, longer down, shorter up. And that gives you the best traction and distributes the weight properly to give you the proper use of the trekking pole. Okay guys, so we've talked about benefits of having a trekking pole, and we've talked about the components of a trekking pole and how they operate, and we've talked about the proper length and adjusting them. So I think that if you try it, guys, you're going to find that it is beneficial to have. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to if you haven't done it before, but... Oh, and I forgot to mention this, and this is probably the best thing about having a trekking pole on you when you're walking on a trail or through the woods or hiking or backpacking, whatever you're doing. Spider webs. Oh my God, does anybody hate spider webs as much as I do? Well, when you have a trekking pole and you see a spider web in front of you, instead of trying to duck under it or work your way around it, just put that trekking pole up there and knock it down. Oh man, I hate spider webs. Anyway, that's all I got for you today, guys. I appreciate you coming along on Urban Outdoors. Hey, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. Make sure you hit that bell button so you can be notified of upcoming videos. And I do appreciate you watching. Till next time, keep calm, carry on, and keep it outdoors.